Okay, well, the big story, though, everyone's talking about this morning, all eyes are on New York, where the nation is now awaiting word on whether former President Trump will be indicted in connection to a potentially unlawful hush money payment to adult star Stormy Daniels. Attorney Robert Costello testified before the New York grand jury on Monday after Trump's legal team requested he be called to testify over the credibility of former Trump attorney Michael Cohen. Costello previously represented Cohen and waived attorney-client privilege before testifying. Following his testimony, Costello spoke to the media, blasting Cohen.
The only thing I'm doing is trying to tell the truth to the grand jurors. Listen, if they want to go after Donald Trump and they have solid evidence, so be it. But Michael Cohen is far from solid evidence. This guy, by any prosecutor's standard, and I used to be deputy chief of the criminal division in the Southern District of New York, I wouldn't have touched a guy like Michael Cohen, especially if he's a convicted perjurer.
Costello also claimed to have provided more than 300 emails and notes proving his claim, and is accusing the Manhattan District Attorney of purposely not showing all of that evidence to the grand jury.
Well, Governor Ron DeSantis is weighing in on former President Trump's legal troubles. During a press conference, the governor took a shot at prosecutors overseeing the case, as well as Trump himself.
That's an example of pursuing a political agenda. I don't know what goes into paying hush money to a porn star to secure silence over some type of alleged affair. I can't speak to that.
Now, his reaction isn't sitting well with some Republicans. Later in the show, we speak with national political editor Joe St. George about why many are frustrated by his comments.
All right, well, will this happen? Will this not happen? A lot of questions, of course. So as we're waiting to see what might happen with a possible indictment, supporters and critics of the former president are making their voices heard. Many of them took to the streets yesterday near Mar-a-Lago.
That's right. That's where we find WPTV's Derek Lowe live this morning with some of their reactions. Derek?
Todd, Megan, good morning. And after speaking with a lot of Trump supporters here yesterday, it was sort of a battle cry moment, many of them calling for others to join in as we all await to see if the former president will be arrested later on today. And large groups of people, many of them with large trucks and flags flying along those trucks, they all gathered here along a Southern Boulevard on the bridge near Mar-a-Lago to show support for Donald Trump. Many of them calling out the district attorney's office for what they say is a witch hunt investigation. On the other side of the aisle, some Democrats say they've been waiting years for this day to come.
The same people who were telling us to lock her up are now saying this is unfair. So really, I support the rule of law because that's what America was founded on.
Come on out and support Donald Trump, please. Hopefully this will send a message to people that if it happens to him, it can happen to you.
One thing, both sides are now wondering if the former president is arrested, how that will impact him moving forward, and if it will help him or hurt him when it comes to campaign finances for the election.
Okay, so Derek, obviously quite a showing yesterday. Do you have any idea if supporters will be out there again today? Are you seeing or hearing anything yet, even this early in the morning?
Yeah, Megan, nobody here right now at this time, but that's something we are anticipating, especially with how the outcome could or could not happen later on today. Some of those trucks that you even saw in the video with the very large flags, American flags, flags with Donald Trump's face on it, they're still parked here. It appears they've been here all night. Yeah, and it's always interesting, if this does get pushed later in the week, if there's any kind of change and when a possible indictment might happen, it's safe to say, I'm sure, a presence outside of Mar-a-Lago could continue for days to come. Thanks so much, Derek. Well, the New York City Police Department, the Secret Service, court officers, and the FBI, they are still discussing security just in case Trump is indicted. On Monday, cameras captured police actually installing security cameras near a Manhattan courthouse. New York District Attorney Alvin Bragg says his office won't tolerate attempts of intimidation or threats against the rule of law, Todd.
That is right. Police also installed barriers around Trump Tower. All members of the New York City Police Department are directed to be in uniform today and ready to mobilize if needed.
And New York isn't the only city bracing for protests. Capitol Police are also preparing for demonstrations in Washington, D.C.
That's right. U.S. Capitol Police will be adding extra manpower ahead of the indictment. Now, officers installed bike rack fencing around the U.S. Capitol, along with the security fencing. A new notice was sent to congressional offices about a, quote, greater law enforcement presence on Capitol Hill. Now, authorities say they anticipate demonstrations across the country related to the indictment if it happens. But they add they have not tracked any specific credible threats against the Capitol or state offices.